Hey guys, Ultra Maximus back with another top 10 list. Today we're taking a look at my picks for top 10 Clint Eastwood movies. This was actually a request by a longtime subscriber, Mr. John Lant. Thank you for the recommendation, sir. I think it's a great topic. Clint Eastwood has, of course, had a wonderful career in films and has made a lot of great movies. Now, just like all my other movie picks, they're not the most financially successful. They're not the most critically acclaimed. They're my picks, personal, and why. So let's go ahead and take a look at number 10. Number 10 is going to go to Kelly's Heroes. I love this movie. I used to watch this all the time on cable when I was a kid. It's a 1970 film. It's a war film that's kind of a comedy-ish type of movie, comedy drama, I guess. It's about U.S. soldiers in World War II who kind of go rogue, and they sneak across enemy lines, so they're trying to get Nazi gold. It's a great cast. We've got Kelly, who's, well, Clint Eastwood. He's the main character, but we also have a great supporting cast like Telly Savalas, Don Rickles, Carol O'Connor's in this, and Donald Sutherland. It's just a really great cast, a cast you wouldn't think would come together, but I mean, it was a great movie. I love it. I think it's a great film. It's got a lot of really great funny bits in it, and it's a practical effects war film, and I really appreciate that, and that is why it's in my top 10 list. Number 9 is going to go to In the Line of Fire. This was a film that came out in 1993 and was about a Secret Service agent named Frank, played by Clint Eastwood, who was basically a failed agent that couldn't save John F. Kennedy during his assassination, and so he kind of spirals downhill, and he's brought back out of retirement to save the president. John Malkovich is the bad guy in this film and is absolutely brilliant. He comes up with this idea to make a plastic gun with plastic bullets that goes through the metal detector, which was really, really awesome. I thought that was a wicked idea, and it's a really good film. It also stars Rene Russo, who's smoking hot in the movie. I really do appreciate that. But all around, it was a really good film. It was kind of like, what if Dirty Harry came out of retirement and was a Secret Service agent? And that's pretty cool, and that's why it's number 8 has to go to Dirty Harry. This film came out in 1971 and is about a cop named Harry Callahan out of San Francisco that's going after this nut job they call the Scorpio Killer that's terrorizing the city. This film, to me, not only put Clint Eastwood on the map as a movie star, it defined what a cop film is. It was so over the top. It was so fun. It gave us the Dirty Harry film franchise. Classic lines like, "Do you feel lucky, punk? Do ya?" It let everybody know what a 44 Magnum was. This ridiculously huge gun that no cop would carry, but looked great on film. I want to say that Frank Sinatra was supposed to play Dirty Harry, and it ended up backing out, and Clint took over. And thank goodness he did, because, well, quite frankly, this film is cinema history, and that is why it's in my top 10 list. Number 7 is going to go to the final Dirty Harry film in the franchise. It's The Deadpool. This movie came out in 1988 and is the last in the series of all the Dirty Harry movies. Basically, Harry Callahan is going after this nut job group that it's got a contest of killing celebrities, including Harry himself, which is kind of interesting. It also stars Liam Neeson. I really like this film because I saw this in the theater, and I think that's why I like it so much. Plus, it makes a pretty good end cap for the whole Dirty Harry series. While I would like to see another Dirty Harry movie, this one kind of caps it all off for me, and I do appreciate that, and that is why it's in my top 10 list. Number 6 is going to go to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. This film came out in 1966 and is part of what is known as the spaghetti westerns or Italian westerns. So these films were made in Italy, just a really great western series. We've got this film, there was A Fistful of Dollars, and I believe the For a Few Dollars More. Those films, I don't know the actual order they're supposed to be in. I want to say The Good, the Bad, the Ugly was the last of them. And this movie really kind of defines Clint Eastwood's Western films to me. I really like this. This was one of those movies I grew up watching on cable all the time. My best friend's father was a massive Clint Eastwood Western fan, and we watched this all the time. Basically, it's about a group of people racing each other to find some buried gold in a cemetery, and it's just a classic Western, and that's why it's in my top 10 list. Number 5 is going to go to Any Which Way You Can. This is the 1980 sequel to Every Which Way But Loose. Basically, Clint plays a character named Philo, I believe is his name. He's a bare knuckle fighter, an old school fighter from the 70s and early 80s, and he's trying to get out of the fighting business, and he's trying to start a car repair business, and he gets ricked into another fight through the mob. It's kind of an adventure comedy. Really funny. He's got an orangutan named Clyde, which provides a lot of great comic relief. Some great one-liners. Right turn, Clyde, and the orangutan would just knock out who was ever on, the right side of the passenger of the car. Just really kind of funny. It's kind of the Clint Eastwood version of Smokey and the Bandit, I guess. Just really funny. You see this orangutan take a shit in a cop car. I like this film a little bit better than the original. It just seemed to be written a little bit better. The cinematography was a little bit better, and it was just a step up from the first one. And I just enjoyed it as a kid, and that's why it's in my top 10 list. Number 4 is going to go to The Outlaw, Josey Wales. Another classic Clint Eastwood Western. This is what he does, and what he does well. I love this movie. It came out in 1976, the year I was born, about a month, I think, before I was born, actually. And it's about a Confederate soldier who's on the run from Union soldiers, who murdered his family. He's trying to restart his life out in the West, and he just keeps picking up all of these little wayward characters. He picks up this woman, this I think it's her mother, this old woman, this Indian chief who's kind of broke down and decrepit. He picks up this dog, and he's just surly and grumpy, and he doesn't want to really deal with any of them, but takes them all on as a surrogate family, and kind of sets peace with the Indians and comes to terms with these soldiers that are trying to kill him. And it's just a fantastic Western. I watch it every time it's on cable, and that is why it's in my top 10 list. Number 3 has got to go to Gran Torino. This film came out in 2008, so it's one of Clint's later works. It's about a disgruntled, grumpy Korean War veteran who's retired. His wife just passed away. He's living in this neighborhood that he's lived in for decades, and it's just kind of going downhill, I guess. You get a lot of trash moving in, and then there's a lot of minority groups moving in that are trying to make it better, but the thugs are kind of hampering that, and Clint's an old white guy just kind of fighting the whole thing and not liking it, and he's just the "you damn kids get off my lawn" kind of guy. And there's some Korean neighbors that moved in that he obviously is not happy about, and the kid tries to steal the car, and Clint ends up kind of mentoring the kid and taking him under the wing and getting to know the family, and he starts to become less of this uh, racist bigot, and starts to really enjoy the family and the company of the kid, and reaching out and wanting to take better care of the neighborhood, and ultimately sacrifices himself for the neighborhood. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful film, and that is why it's in my top 10 list. Number 2 has got to go to Space Cowboys. I love this movie. It came out in 2000. It's a great ensemble piece. You've got Clint Eastwood, Tommy Lee Jones, Donald Sutherland, James Garner, just a cast of great actors. I don't even know if I can name them all. Basically, this is about a group of engineers, astronauts. They started out as Air Force test pilots and engineers, and you see the foundation of NASA, and this takes place after all that's happened. We've got a flashback and see him young, and basically they never got the chance to go into space, and this team gets called up because there's this Russian satellite that ends up having nukes in it. It's a hidden weapon, and they're trying to get it back on target, and this top secret mission, but they need Clint's team to do it because none of the new engineers and astronauts and NASA people have any idea how to work with this archaic technology. And it's just a great, fun film. It's got, like I said, a wonderful cast. You couldn't ask for a better all-star cast, and it's fun from the start to the finish, and has, quite frankly, one of the most heroic and sad endings of any film out there, and that is why it's in my top 10 list. And my number 1 pick has got to go to Unforgiven. This is, I believe, Clint's final Western. It came out in 1992. I remember going and seeing this at the theater. He played a character named William Money, who is the meanest son of a bitch that's ever walked the earth. He's an old retired gunslinger in the West, and he ends up taking on this one last job about a whore that got cut up, and he's going to go and basically avenge it for her. She's paying him to kill the people that cut her up, and Clint Eastwood's in it. Gene Hackman is in it, who's phenomenal in westerns. Morgan Freeman is in it as William Money's buddy. He ends up getting killed, and he just snaps and decides, fuck it. He gets drunk and turns into the despicable old killer he was, and just wreaks havoc and brings hell to this little town. And it has got to be one of the most amazing and violent and aggressive endings to a Western I've ever seen. I loved it. It's my favorite Western, period. So that's why it's number 1 of my top 10 list. So there's my top 10 list, guys. What do you think? What are your favorite Clint Eastwood movies? What did not make my list you think should have been here? Add a comment below. I'd love to hear you. John, thanks for the suggestion. I think it was a great idea. If there's a top 10 list out there that you guys like me to review, let me know, and I'll try to make it happen. Thanks for watching. Definitely subscribe to my channel, share my videos. I really do appreciate it. And as always, look for more videos in the future.